Hey crafters and stampers, thank you for joining me today. Today's video is going to be a little different. This is actually a part of the 11th anniversary year for Jessica Lynn Original Stamps, and as part of Jessica's design team, we were all asked to do some sort of teaching or to share our tips and tricks, our designing process for making cards. So today's video is going to be all about that. So to start this, you are actually viewing my craft desk, and this is where I normally work on my cards and my scrapbook layouts, as well as film my YouTube videos. You will see lamps on the right and on the left, and I only turn those on when it's dark outside, but I'm actually blessed of having sunshine almost all year round, so I don't really have a lot of problem with lighting. But I still adjust the lighting on my video sometimes, because sometimes it's dark and I want clear and bright videos. But this is where I work, this is where I stamp and die cut and film my videos on YouTube. The first thing that I do before I start my day is to make myself a cup of coffee. And that's always a go-to first thing in the morning for me. I love coffee, and I love taking it here in my craft room before I start creating those cards. And then I go on this side of the room and I turn on the lights. I know you guys have seen this already if you follow me on Instagram, and if you've been following me for a while here on YouTube, you've already seen this. I have that tree all year round, and I love turning on the lights even first thing in the morning, even if it's bright outside. I love looking at it. I really love that I have it here in my craft room. So that's one tip for you. Whatever you love, put it in your craft room, because that's part of your inspiration. I love that everything is really beautiful. And then you see here, you will see some cards that I received from you guys. The card on the left is from Miss Martini Girl, who is Sue. And then the card in the middle is from Jamie, Scrap and Stampers. And then the card on the right is from Scrap Diva 29. I love receiving cards from my subscribers and from my friends. So whatever cards I receive, I would like to display them here in my craft room, because it gives me some great inspiration to look at it and just to know that you guys are my good friends. And then I have some other projects that I created over there that I've been working on, and then some tags that I worked on recently. Those two tags are over there. And then what I have on these clipboards that I got recently from my haul are some blueprints, printouts that I just purchased, the My Favorite Things blueprints. So I normally put them on the clipboard there of things that I want to work on or I'm working on for future projects and things like that, or just some stamps. After the coffee, I just go over here in this area, turn on the lights. The next thing that I do is I turn on my iPod and I turn it on my favorite playlist, and then just listen to music while I'm working on the cards, because it helps calm me down. I have my ambient lighting and I have my music there, and then I sit on my workspace and start working on my cards or my scrapbook layout. I know you guys haven't seen a lot of scrapbook layouts, and I still do them, but I just don't post it on my YouTube videos because those are my family photos and they're quite personal, so I really don't like posting them in public. So when I have everything in order, then I sit over here on my workspace, and I generally like having a clean space, clutter-free, because it drives me crazy when everything is just in shambles and things like that. So I like keeping my workspace clutter-free as much as possible. I'm also sort of messy when I start creating my cards, but then after I create the cards, I try to clean up as soon as possible so that I can keep my workspace nice and neat, so that I can find everything that I need for the next day that I start creating cards again. So the next thing that I do is I put my tripod here, and then I normally just adjust it if I'm doing a video process a tutorial on YouTube, then I put my camera here and I start working on my card. I wanted to show you guys the things that I use for stamping. The first thing that I really love right now is the Stampaholic, and I was supposed to order the Misty, but at the time that I was back home in Florida, they didn't have it yet in stock, so I decided to order this from catscrappiness.com. But I have a big Misty, it's just that the Nano is so much smaller than the Misty. I still use these clear blocks, acrylic blocks for stamping, and I have my reading glass there so I can see what I'm working on. So these are the three things that I use for stamping. The first one that I use is this Memento Tuxedo Black ink for Copic markers, and then the second one that I use is My Favorite Things hybrid ink pad. This is also great for Copic markers. And then my new favorite right now is the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black, because this one works with watercolors as well as Copics. So those are the three inks that I recommend if you're doing Copic markers or watercolor. Then I have my Copic markers here, and I try to organize that as much as possible, but I still have to get a nice sort of storage for my Copic marker. So all the tips and tricks that you see on this video is also available on my blog. So I wrote this blog post for Jessica Lynn Originals. So if you want to check that out, please head on over to my blog. The link is in the description box below. But this is what I generally do. I start stamping here, and then once I'm done with that, then I get the dies that coordinate with whatever I stamp, if I have the coordinating dies with it, and then I use my Big Shot right there to start die cutting the images. I forgot to mention that before I even start stamping, I already gather my supplies before I even sit down over here, and then I normally just put them on the left side of my craft desk and just line them up over there, so that when I'm stamping here, I can just go back and forth between those spaces so that I can finalize the stamping and die cutting for my cards. So I just wanted to point out, on this side of the table, I normally have my favorite adhesives and other tools that I use for stamping. And I also use this stamp chamois. And this is just a regular chamois that you can find at an auto supply store. This is the one that you wipe your car with. Before Lawn Fawn came up with their stamp chamois, someone from a Stamping Enablers group that I belong to on Facebook shared her tip on how she cleans her clear stamp after she stamps. And I used to use baby wipes, and I still have baby wipes here on my desk, but now that I started using the chamois, I really love it. It cleans out your stamp really well, and it doesn't bleed or anything, so it looks dirty, but it's actually just a little stain, and it's not going to transfer on your stamps or on your projects. I keep this wet and in this container right here, and if it dries out, because it dries out after a day or so, then I just get it, go to the sink and make it wet again, and then use it again to clean my stamps. So this is a great way. You can get a big one like this at Amazon.com, and I just cut it to size. So after I'm done with the card, I like to take some nice photos of the card I just finished and then post it on Instagram, and then use also that photograph that I just took for my thumbnail on my YouTube video. So the poster board is what I use to take photographs of my card. I have this pin frog that I got from a craft store at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. That's how it looks like. I have a couple of these so I can put my card on top and take photographs. As you can see, you don't need a fancy light box or anything like that. All you need is actually very good lighting to take photographs of your finished project. So that's what I use. This is just a white poster board, and then I line it up with a neutral background. It's always nice to have a neutral background because it makes your images pop. So I always get questions on what I use to take photos of my cards. I only use my iPhone. This is the iPhone 6 and I really love the case on my phone. But this is an iPhone 6 and this is what I use to take photographs of my cards. If I'm not blessed with some good lighting somehow, then I edit my photos using Fonto. I use Fonto to put watermark on my photographs, and I also use this layout from Instagram to improve the lighting on my cards. But that's about it. After I improve the lighting and after I put my watermark using the Fonto, then I finalize and save the photograph and then post it immediately on my Instagram. After that, I will also move it to my computer so I can do the thumbnail for my YouTube video. And I use PicMonkey to do the thumbnail on my YouTube video. So if you guys are interested to do thumbnails for your videos, then head on over to YouTube and search for how to on PicMonkey and things like that, and then they will show you a lot of videos on how you can edit your photographs to create thumbnails. So that is pretty much it. That's what I do before I start designing cards or create scrapbook layouts. That's my own designing process. I know it's too much for some of you because you guys probably still have young kids running around or you have young grandchildren, things like that. You're busy, you have a full-time work. But my husband and I are empty nesters now. Our kids are grown, so I actually enjoy having my own craft room to myself. And when my daughter and my son are both visiting, then they share this passion with me. My son is very artistic. My daughter is also very artistic. They love creating with me in my craft room. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below and I'll try to respond to your questions as soon as possible. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you on my next crafting video. Bye for now and have an amazing weekend.